What if I told you that happiness isn't something that happens to you? It's something your brain produces, on demand, in under 15 seconds. And the reason most people never experience it that way is not because they're broken, not because life is hard, not because they're failing at something. It's because nobody ever showed them where the switch is. Right now, sitting inside your skull are neurochemical systems specifically designed to generate feelings of calm, joy, and contentment. They're not locked behind years of therapy or a perfect life or a meditation retreat in Bali. They're triggered by 3 specific behaviors. Each one takes 15 seconds, and after this video, you'll know exactly how to use all 3. But first, you need to understand why your brain has been quietly working against you. Let me describe something. You wake up in the morning and there's this feeling. It's not pain, it's not crisis, it's just flatness. A low-grade background dissatisfaction that you can't quite name or locate. So you reach for your phone, scroll, looking for something to make the feeling go away. It doesn't. You go through your day. You work. You check things off lists. You achieve things you told yourself would make you feel better, and they do for maybe a few hours. Then baseline sets back in, and you're right back where you started. And the worst part? You feel guilty about it, because from the outside, your life looks fine. So you tell yourself you're ungrateful, or lazy, or maybe just wired for unhappiness. You're not. What you're experiencing has a name in neuroscience. It's called hedonic adaptation, the brain's tendency to normalize every positive experience until it no longer registers as positive. It's not weakness, it's biology. The problem isn't you. The problem is that nobody taught you how to override it. Here's what the self-help industry keeps selling you. Gratitude journals. Affirmations, vision boards, 5-step morning routines that take 90 minutes before you've had coffee. And here's what neuroscientists actually discovered decades ago. Your brain has hardwired biological mechanisms for producing happiness chemicals: dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, endorphins, and specific micro-behaviors can activate them in seconds, not minutes, seconds. Japanese researchers studying the psychology of ikigai, the art of finding daily meaning and joy, found that happiness isn't a destination you arrive at after enough achievement. It's a practice, a set of deliberate micro-inputs that signal your nervous system to shift state. The people who seem naturally content, the ones who bounce back fast, who stay steady under pressure, they're not lucky. They've learned, consciously or not, to activate these circuits on demand. And in the next few minutes, so will you. Before we get into the 3 tricks, I want to be clear about something. This isn't motivation. This isn't feel-good content. Every technique in this video has a documented neurochemical mechanism. Harvard research on the brain's default mode network. UCLA clinical studies on serotonin synthesis and memory recall. Stanford neuroscientist Andrew Huberman's work on the physiological sigh and autonomic regulation. Peer-reviewed facial feedback research from the University of Cardiff. These aren't hacks someone invented on the internet. These are findings from some of the most rigorous institutions studying the human brain. What I'm giving you today is the applied version, distilled into 15-second actions you can use anywhere, anytime, without anyone around you knowing what you're doing. I call these the 3 neurochemical activation triggers. 3 micro-behaviors, 3 different neurochemical pathways, each one proven to shift your emotional state in 15 seconds or less. No app, no supplement, no 6 a.m. alarm, just the knowledge of which lever to pull and when. Most people will go their entire lives without knowing these exist. You're about to learn all 3. Let's go. Trick 1. And this one works in the first 5 seconds. It's called the power exhale, and it's the fastest documented method for shifting your emotional state using nothing but your own body. Here's the mechanism. When you exhale slowly, longer than your inhale, you activate the parasympathetic nervous system through the vagus nerve. This triggers an immediate reduction in cortisol and adrenaline and shifts your body from a threat state into a recovery state. your heart rate drops, your muscles soften, your perception of stress physically changes. The technique is simple. Inhale through your nose for 4 seconds, then exhale slowly through your mouth for 8 seconds. One cycle. That's it. Andrew Huberman's research at Stanford identifies this extended exhale, sometimes called the physiological sigh, as the single fastest way to shift your autonomic nervous state in real time, faster than any thought, faster than any reframe, because it bypasses the thinking brain entirely and speaks directly to your nervous system in its own language. Here's the contrast. The average person, when stress hits, when the day gets heavy, when focus disappears, does nothing, or reaches for coffee, or opens their phone, all of which amplify the cortisol spike instead of reducing it. The optimized person takes 8 seconds, exhales slowly, and resets. Invisible, instant, and available to you every single moment of every single day. Try it right now if you want. Seriously, inhale for 4, exhale for 8.
I'll wait. Feel that? That's your vagus nerve. That's real neuroscience happening in your body in real time. Trick 2, and this one is going to reframe something you thought you already understood. It's called the micro-gratitude spike, and it is nothing like the gratitude practice you've been told to do. Here's the problem with standard gratitude advice. Write down 3 things you're grateful for. Most people think family, health, a roof over their head. Generic, abstract, emotionally distant, and neurochemically nearly useless. UCLA neuroscience research on serotonin synthesis shows that specific sensory episodic memory recall produces a fundamentally different neurochemical response than abstract gratitude statements. What does that mean in plain language? I'm grateful for my friendships barely registers. The exact way my friend laughed at that stupid joke on Tuesday, the sound of it, the feeling in my chest when it happened, that activates serotonin synthesis in a measurable, documented way. The specificity is the mechanism. Your brain doesn't respond to concepts. It responds to sensory re-experience. So here's the trigger. Close your eyes for 15 seconds. Recall one specific sensory moment. Not a category, not a concept, a real, textured, felt memory. The warmth of a specific morning, a conversation that made you feel genuinely seen, the sound of rain against a window during a moment you felt completely safe. Hold it. Actually feel it. Not think about it. Feel it. 15 seconds. That's the difference between gratitude as a concept and gratitude as a neurochemical event. The average person either skips gratitude entirely or does it so vaguely it produces nothing. The top performers who use this, and they do use it, many of them as a daily micro-practice, are essentially dosing themselves with serotonin using nothing but memory. You have thousands of those memories. They're free, they're always available, and most of them are just sitting there, untouched, while you scroll for something external to make you feel better. Trick 3. This is the one that surprises people most because it uses something you already do every single day without realizing it's one of the most powerful neurochemical tools you have access to. It's called the micro-expression reset. Here it is. Hold a genuine smile, not a polite social smile, but a full Duchenne smile, the kind that engages the muscles around your eyes, for 15 seconds. That's the whole trick. I know, your first reaction is probably skepticism. Force myself to smile? That's the advice? Stay with me, because the neuroscience here is genuinely surprising. Research from the University of Cardiff, combined with decades of facial feedback studies, shows that the physical act of smiling, even when initiated deliberately, not as a response to happiness, sends afferent signals from the facial muscles to the amygdala that measurably reduce stress hormone activity and trigger endorphin release. Your brain, in a very real neurological sense, does not fully distinguish between a smile that happiness causes and a smile that causes happiness. The feedback loop runs in both directions. Average people wait to feel happy before they smile. They treat the smile as a symptom, something that appears after joy arrives. Optimized people understand that the smile is also a cause. They use their face as a lever. 15 seconds of a genuine, eye-engaging smile, and their neurochemistry has already started shifting. It sounds almost too simple to be real, but that's exactly why most people never use it. We're trained to believe transformation has to be hard, has to take time, has to hurt a little. Sometimes it takes 15 seconds and a smile you chose. Here's the truth underneath all of this. The people living at their full cognitive potential, they aren't gifted, they aren't lucky. They made a decision, usually quietly, usually alone, that they were going to control their inputs, that their brain wasn't something that happened to them, it was something they built. And that identity shift from passive recipient of your habits to intentional architect of your brain, that is the actual transformation, not the habits themselves. The decision that you're someone who makes them. That decision is available to you, right now, in this moment. Picture 30 days from now. You wake up and your first thought is clarity, not dread. Your focus locks in without a fight. You move through your work in a flow state that used to feel accidental, but now feels reliable. Your memory is sharper. Your thinking is faster. Your energy doesn't crater at 2 p.m. That's not motivation. That's not a vision board. That's neuroplasticity doing exactly what the science says it does when you give it the right inputs consistently. So here's what I want you to do right now. Pick one habit from this list, just one, and implement it tomorrow morning. Not Monday, tomorrow. Because your brain is being reshaped today, whether you're intentional about it or not. The only question is, are you going to choose the inputs or let them choose you? Your brain is not finished, it's not fixed, it's being rebuilt right now by everything you feed it. You just learned the 7 inputs that matter most. So drop in the comments, which habit are you starting tomorrow? I read every single one. And if you want to go deeper, the next video covers the specific focus protocols used by the top 1% to enter deep work states on demand. It's right here. Subscribe so you don't miss it. I'll see you there.